Welcome, everyone. Today we're diving into how China is redefining its economic relationship with Africa. It's like a whole new playbook in global trade dynamics.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fascinating to see how initiatives and strategies have shifted, right?
For sure. So, one major angle to this transformation is how China, despite its own domestic slowdowns, has restructured its approach by leaning into public private
Really interesting.
partnerships. Instead of traditional government to government loans, it's now engaging with financial institutions to fund projects, which is a significant pivot.
And that's what really intrigues me. It's almost like China is modernizing its economic diplomacy, transitioning from the old school bilateral aid to a more diversified financial mechanism.
Exactly. And this is underscored by initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative and the Forum on China Africa Cooperation. These platforms are not just about money, they're about strategic infrastructure, connectivity, and even cultural exchanges.
Right. Now let's talk trade. I've read that in 2024, China's trade with Africa increased by nearly 5% year on year. That's not a small uptick. What's your take on that?
Oh, definitely not small. It's like a ripple that's becoming a wave. Africa has also started exporting more non-resource goods. Think coffee, avocados, rather than just raw materials. This diversification is really reshaping the trade balance.
Yeah, it's surprising. Right, because traditionally, Africa's exports were seen almost exclusively as raw resources. So, this shift to include more processed and diverse goods truly signals a maturation of economic ties, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And this diversification is also a testament to how African economies are evolving. With China encouraging infrastructure and investment in newer sectors, it's a win win. China secures stable supply chains, and Africa gains more sustainable economic growth opportunities.
Indeed. But don't you think there's a risk here? I mean, some critics argue that this rebalancing could be lopsided, potentially leading to economic dependency. What do you think?
That's a valid point. While the public private partnership model does offer more diversity than direct government loans, there's still the underlying concern of debt sustainability and influence. It's like, um, the balance of power
Yeah,
is
I see what you
delicate.
mean. Exactly. And while Africa benefits from the infrastructure projects and market access, there's always the worry of long term strategic leverage by China. How do we, ensure it's a symbiotic relationship rather than a one sided dependency?
That's where the international community and African nations need strong internal policies and transparency. With better governance and safeguards, the potential for dependency might be minimized.
Right. And speaking of strategies, the Belt and Road Initiative, for example, isn't just an economic project, it's a geopolitical statement. China's efforts here are tightly interwoven with global alliances.
Oh, absolutely. It's like China is weaving a new global network, mutually beneficial infrastructures, but also creating new alliances. And the Forum on China Africa Cooperation really symbolizes that shift. It goes beyond trade, it's about building long term partnerships.
Right. But here's a thought. While this helps develop Africa's infrastructure, are there any concerns about local industries being overshadowed by Chinese competition?
Good question. There's indeed some pushback regarding market imbalances. Some argue that Chinese investments might focus on large scale projects that don't always integrate local businesses. But then again, there are efforts to bring in local suppliers and workforce. It's like trying to mix a global recipe with local spices.
Yeah, that's a neat analogy. And it's important to keep that balance, isn't it? If local industries flourish alongside these investments, it can lead to more organic growth in African economies.
Precisely. And this evolving trade with China, with other sectors opening up like agriculture and processing, could be a catalyst for that local empowerment.
Agreed. Now, I'm also curious about the role of technology and innovation in this reshaping. Do you think there's a digital or tech element here that's being overlooked?
That's a great point. There's definitely a tech angle. While the video focuses primarily on economic and infrastructural shifts, the integration of digital technologies in trade and investment is an undercurrent. It's like digital platforms and tech transfer can facilitate smoother trade operations and collaboration between the continents.
Yeah. So, Beyond physical infrastructure, this could boost sectors like fintech, e-commerce, and even higher education, where technology-enabled training plays a role, right?
Exactly, and it's sort of like laying down both the physical and digital highways. Together, they create a robust network, allowing for rapid information flow and efficient economic operations across borders.
Absolutely. And we shouldn't overlook how these partnerships could impact global alliances. China's engagement in Africa is altering traditional ties. It's flipping the geopolitical chessboard, so to speak.
Right on. Africa's newfound prominence in global trade is in part because of these evolving dynamics, and it's reshaping its interactions with not just China, but with Western economies too. It's like, um, it's like the whole global order is undergoing subtle yet impactful shifts.
Yes, quite transformative indeed. Now, if we step back a bit, what do you see as the long-term potential or consequence of this expanded relationship?
Good question. In the long run, the economic ties between China and Africa could be a model for other global partnerships, highlighting how emerging economies can diversify and innovate without being pigeonholed. But there's also the need for careful management of mutual benefits.
I understand. That's true. Without balanced policies, these ties could skew too strongly in favor of one partner or the other, risking a sort of economic overreach.
Yes, and that's why it's imperative for African nations to have robust internal frameworks to engage with these investments. Transparency, local capacity building, and sustainable practices are key.
Definitely, I agree. You mentioned earlier that China's trade with Africa increased nearly 5% year on year, right? Do you think this growth rate is sustainable given the global economic uncertainties?
That's an important question. While a 5% growth rate is significant, it's also subject to global market fluctuations, changes in commodity prices, and political shifts. It's like riding a roller coaster. You might have thrilling upsides, but dips are inevitable if external conditions shift.
And it's crucial then for both sides to build in buffers, like diversifying trade and strengthening multilateral engagements, to handle those dips.
Exactly, and that's why the discussion around non-resource exports is so vital. It showcases Africa moving into areas where it has more value addition, which can cushion against market volatility.
Right, absolutely. On a related note, what's your view on how these partnerships influence global economic power dynamics overall?
I think it's pretty transformative. China's engagement in Africa isn't just about economics, it's a reconfiguration of global alliances. As China strengthens ties with African nations, it simultaneously shifts the balance against traditional Western dominance, fostering new power blocs.
I see. That's a huge shift. And yet, some might argue that this rebalancing may not be as seamlessly beneficial if underlying issues like debt or political influence aren't properly managed.
True, and I can see that critique. It's important that while leveraging these economic opportunities, both China and African nations are strategic about long-term implications, avoiding traps that could undermine sovereignty or sustainable growth.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, in summing up, we see multifaceted changes, from diversified trade goods and revamped financing models to geopolitical reshuffling and digital integration. It's a layered transformation that has global implications.
Right. It's a paradigm shift. China is not just chasing profit, it's actively reshaping global commerce and alliances through strategic partnerships with Africa. It's a bold, complex strategy with both promising opportunities and potential pitfalls.
Exactly. And that dynamic tension between opportunity and challenge is what makes this topic so riveting. It's not just economics, it's a redefinition of global power structures. Thanks for the deep dive.
Absolutely. Always great discussing these transformative global trends with you. Till next time, keep questioning and keep exploring.